So if we know that 95% of communication, of learning, comes from the visual and the auditory side of our senses, then why aren't we combining the two and doing a Zoom call? Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. If you didn't hear last week's episode with Sam Rankin from Etch Outdoor, definitely go back and listen to it. He dropped a ton of great nuggets in there about terms with projects and exactly how to make sure that you're managing your client in the most effective way so you're never hung at the end of the project with a big fat bill that the client has tons of leverage over you. And you're stuck with, just kind of sitting there and hoping and praying that they're going to pay you. So go back and listen to that episode. What I want to jump on this week is I want to get into, he mentioned something in there, and I want to dive deeper into it about when you are presenting your proposal and or even doing your discovery meeting process or your sales process. If you just are making phone calls, doing it just flat out on the phone with maybe one, hopefully two decision makers, if you're doing that audibly through the phone, without any kind of visuals like a Zoom or anything like that, or even face-to-face, I want to talk to you today about how you can increase your closing rate just by changing the way you deliver your information. So let's back it up to a discovery call. We're actually reaching out to them, making sure that they're going to be a good fit for your company. So with that being the case, a lot of times we thought, it's just a phone call. We just make a quick phone call, talk to the homeowners and be good to go. But would you believe that only about 30% of learning comes from the auditory senses, right? From listening. So about 30%. So as you're talking through all the different things you're going to do or not do in the project and what makes you better and different and all of that and trying to differentiate yourself on the phone, you are also only allowing for 30% of their ability to learn being engaged, their auditory sense. Now I say that because for years we used to do only phone calls and closing rates were good, but not great. And here's what we found after doing some more research. There's this whole concept of 65% of humans learn through visual, through their eyes, visual cues, things they can see, body language, tonalities, and they can see all that different stuff, right? 65% of learning comes from the visual side. Only 30% is auditory and 5% kinesthetic. That's where you actually touch things, like you're actually doing things, touching things, moving things. That's what you do with like products and things like that later in your sales cycle. But if you could think about that, visual and auditory make up 95% of human learning is within those two modalities through the eyes and through the ears. If you're only making a phone call and all they can do is hear you, think about how much you're leaving on the table. 65% of human learning is done through the eyes. So you're taking that right off the table by only making phone calls. So here's a suggestion. What if you would upgrade and say, look, we're going to do Zoom calls instead with your customers for your discovery calls and for your proposals and all that kind of stuff, instead of just a phone call discussing and describing what you're going to do, what's included, what's not included, all of those things. This is what it is. This is a non-scientific approach, but this is something that's been shown over and over to be most of the time accurate. So if we know that 95% of communication, of learning, comes from the visual and the auditory side of our senses, then why aren't we combining the two and doing a Zoom call? Why are we still going back to those phone calls? And when we do phone calls, we're losing such opportunity. I can't say this enough, listeners. If you've always done it that way, if you've always done phone calls and it seems scary to jump on a Zoom conversation because you're doing them in a place that either doesn't have a nice backdrop, or you just don't like getting on a Zoom call, or you're just, let's face it. I know when I first started, I was very self-conscious being on camera. It was something that did not come naturally to me. It was something I fought, man. It was tough. But I knew deep down that I could be more effective. I could serve more people. I can do and serve in a way that God has created me to do. And I knew I could do that better through that platform, through a visual and an auditory combination platform like Zoom, that I have a much higher opportunity to be able to help more people. So that's what made it bigger for me. And why I even started this podcast was to learn how to talk, how to go from bullet points in my head to longer conversations, and how to ask questions throughout processes and throughout interviews, and to think faster on my feet. all of that extrapolates into how I approach everything in life. So as much as I have this podcast for everyone to listen to the things that are going on, I'm also deep down improving myself each and every episode. And I appreciate you guys for supporting me throughout this. We're well over 200 and some episodes now. Been doing it almost 4 years. And I love meeting with people and discussing what's going on in their lives, in their businesses, how they're closing, what their sales are like, and what kind of gold nuggets they learn. Because I know for sure that I don't know everything. And I don't know there'll ever be a day when I do. But each day to grow just a little bit. And that's what I want to offer you this challenge. This is an opportunity for you to grow just a little bit more by considering the next time you take a call with a client to do it via Zoom. And when you do, to just show up the best you possibly can right now. And that's the cool part. Just show up and start. Your closing rates will go up, and you don't even have to learn any sales processes or systems. That's just a simple, easy softball for you to be able to jump into. And most Zoom accounts give you at least, I think it's 45 minutes now. And you don't even have to buy Zoom. And if you want better, then you can purchase it. This allows you to get on there and to be able to serve people at a higher level. There's also something else that he talked about on there. It's how you set terms, setting expectations. It's a very common thread here on this podcast about setting expectations. And if you have a very clear set of expectations set, terms set for how you're going to be paid throughout the project, it's going to take the pressure off of you significantly, right? The last thing you want to do is go out there and meet with clients and then go out and build this project after signing. And the client, you get 50% up front, 30% up front, whatever it is, and you're holding your breath at the end of the project because you're waiting for that client to pay. And it's the smallest little detail that wasn't quite right, or they don't like the Dragon Lady Holly. It's too small, and they're not going to pay you the extra 30 grand that's left on the end of the bill because of one bush. And that's extremely stressful, especially when you got bills. You can alleviate all that by just setting up processes and systems and exactly how you're going to be paid. And if the client doesn't accept those terms, they just don't work with you. It's very simple. And when you have change orders throughout the project under construction, get paid 100% of those as you move forward. Get them signed and paid right away. You don't have to hold your breath at the very end, hoping like heck your client didn't forget about the water feature they added, or the extra tree line they added, or all those extra pavers for that walkway that they conveniently forgot about. If they've already signed and they've already paid, you have no risk. And that's the main thing, right? Because we want to be able to serve, not sit here, be scared and stressed because we don't know if we can trust the client or not. They're worried that they can't trust us. We're worried we can't trust them. That's not a good way to build a relationship. And that's what we're doing here, folks. We're building relationships. So if you can just make those two shifts in how you work with clients, man, what a difference that can make. And your level of stress and overwhelm, they're the two, believe it or not, they're the two primary emotions when I poll people in our industry about what they feel on a daily basis. It's overwhelm, stress. Those are the two big ones. Just overwhelmed and stressed out. These two little things can change that, and they don't cost you anything. That's the cool part. Now, if you want to go in and take a look at your entire sales process and say, look, I need some kind of like step-by-step process that I don't have to keep going in and winging it all the time and hope like heck I'm going to get a result. Just like Sam talked about, they have a process in place, and then they can track everything and know exactly where they are for sales for the year. And they know how to communicate with clients, what to say in the right order, setting all those expectations. He talked in there about setting the expectations for the meeting. If a client knows they're going to be talking about budget, know they're going to be talking about next steps, and you've already mentioned that and on the very beginning of the call, and all of a sudden it comes time for it, they're not surprised because you already told them what's coming. That's going to be the result of this call. So we set up an outcome in the beginning and then a result at the end. It's a very clear step-by-step process to make sure that happens. So you can be most effective as a sales professional and only spend time with the people who truly want, need, and desire you. Not out there chasing everybody else who's just looking for a quick bid so they can compare it to the other two dingbats that they found that are going to screw up their backyard and end up causing them a lot of pain in the future, right? We all know that that's going to happen to some people. Let's make sure that you stand out significantly different when you set your proposal and you meet with your clients. Let's make sure that you look completely different. You feel completely different to those clients, that they're willing to open their checkbook further, pay you what you're worth, to make sure they're not wasting your time, that you can be profitable in this project and every other project after it. So if you need help with systems like that for your sales team or for yourself, or you're looking to go from an owner operator and hire a salesperson and don't know how to do it, and don't know how to transfer that knowledge or that ability to close, that's what we do. We help sales teams in our industry all the time do exactly that. So book a call here. You'll see the link down here in the show notes. I'd love to help you through that. Discover what you're doing now, how to improve it, so you can go out there and be more effective as a sales professional and serve more clients and build amazing backyards, guys. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.